So today you're going to be giving us tips on speaking out, but let's start off going back to the story of the protest.
Yeah, of course, it's entertainment value as well.
Sure.
I mean, we're living in a social media world, so a lot of things that we do sometimes, it's either going to be videoed or it's going to be tweeted or it's going to be, copied on Facebook. So it's not even just so much about the act, but it's like, how does the act or what you're saying then translate into social media sometimes? So we don't always have to go to those extremes. I know she was planning on trying to make it all the way to the top. I don't know how confident she
didn't
was.
Really think this thing through.
I mean, she may or may not have, but I think what she thought is here's Independence Day, here's Statue of Liberty that represents something, and based on what I have to say or what I feel like my message is, maybe I need to switch it up a bit. Maybe I should do something a little bit more radical.
And I would think sometimes that the shock value kind of outweighs the message that you're trying to send.
True,
people aren't talking about her message, they're talking about her being crazy and climbing up the...
Yeah. Sometimes that is true, and sometimes we do feel that okay, the act that you're actually doing distracts from what you're actually trying to deliver. But I think for most people who may not have necessarily even paid attention to the message or the message prior to her act now are actually paying attention to it. Now we're talking about her act, but we know what it represents. So once you find out what it represents, then the message is getting across, but I don't think that we always have to go through those extremes. I mean, because on our day-to-day lives, we may not always be protesting something of civil matters, but sometimes we're protesting how much time you spend in the bathroom, family, or why it's so difficult to get your kids out the house, when it's time to get out and get going for the morning. So I'm not saying you need to go and, climb the Statue of Liberty just to get your family up and out by 7 a.m. every morning, but perhaps there is something to it. And so that's what we're
So one of your first pieces of advice is you call it signing out. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so this reminded me, when I saw this story, it reminded me of something that happened about a month or so ago. Actually, an athlete who plays for the Eagles, instead of just talking in his interview and answering questions, he decided to write his message and his talking points out on whiteboards and just regular words, okay? And so he shuffled through these different cards, already writing out what his message was. And I thought that was a very interesting and yet different way to go about expressing yourself. Again, kind of thinking outside of the box. Now, are we going to do this all the time? Maybe not.
Well, tell us about the second piece of advice, which is switch the location.
Yeah, and then also switching the location. So, I give an example, for example, like at work, and instead of maybe meeting in the conference room, it's beautiful in Chicago right now. We all need to soak up some rays. So if you're having a meeting or maybe you're having a group project, take it outside. Move outside of your comfort zone. Even at home, when you're working with your family, you got different activities. Even if it's something about doing dinner, take the dinner outside, because you're really using dinner as a way to get closer with your family. So instead of just constantly doing the usual, take it outside. Switch the location up. I mean, we do it right here at work right now. We're taking it out to McDonald's. We're taking it out to somewhere in Chicago with beautiful scenery, because it changes the way that you're able to receive messages.
Okay, well, Jordan, I need to see you outside
Yes, right.
for a walk. Somewhere at a location where there's champagne.
Absolutely. Yes.
Champagne always is a good
The
thing.
one thing I've kind of gathered from this as we tie a bow on this in 15 seconds here is it seems like effort is a big part of this.
It is. And you don't always have to be super duper extravagant, but sometimes just saying I love you to your family members, write it in a note, put it in their coat pocket, leave it in the seat of their car. That's a different way to express yourself, get your message across without it necessarily being climbing the Statue of Liberty,
There you go. We have an hour left in the show. You better communicate like she said.
I will. I'm going to put a little note right there.
All right, great advice from the communication expert herself. For more information on Sherhara, all you got to do is head to Sherhara.com. Sherhara, Sherhara.com.